Hey everyone, it's Rob at Mr. Robot Shop. Today I was going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to destroy a computer. A lot of times I get people that bring old stuff in and nothing I can sell, parts I can't really salvage, so I thought today maybe I would just have a little fun and get some destructive energy out. This one is a Dell. I think it's an Inspiron or Dimension 4600. It's a Pentium 4 dual optical drives. It's got I think an AGP video card, 4 sticks of RAM, an IDE hard drive. So I've not really done anything like this before, so you know, going to be kind of hit or miss or as far as the results we're going to get. Oops, I'm going to show you the specs on the computer real quick here. Right now it's running Windows 7. It's a 2.6 gigahertz, 3 gig of memory with Windows 7 Home Premium 32-bit. So why don't we, I have to leave the video card in because it doesn't have onboard video, so that is going to be the last thing I'm going to do. What I'm thinking is I'm going to pull a memory chip out while the computer's on and see what happens. So we'll get these cables out of the way here. So hopefully I won't get zapped or electrocuted in the process of doing this. So I'm gonna just pop one of them out. Oop, we just got the beep code. That was pretty quick. So we'll shut it off, turn it back on. My guess is it should still work. Yeah. So what'll happen is the memory amount will just decrease. Invalid configuration, that's just because the BIOS battery is a little lithium battery down there that's just dead. So, and then while we're waiting for that, because that'll take some time, I'm going to pop the processor bracket off here. Alright, so got that. I'm going to pop another chip out here. See what happens without Windows being on. Huh, I popped it out and it didn't beep this time. Let's see what we do if we go over here. But it is locked up. So again, I'll turn it off, turn it back on. Obviously I'm not going to recommend you do this with your own computer at home. So it's coming back up. So obviously pulling memory out when the computer's on isn't really, you know, doing any damage here. So why don't we stick a chip back in when it's turned on? See what happens, if anything. No sparks, no nothing. Can't do a Control-Alt-Delete, so it looks like it did lock up again. Yeah, that's weird. Now we're getting the beeping noise though. Maybe something did happen here. I'm going to try it in the other socket. Okay, so it's back up and running. So obviously memory, pulling it in and out, whether it's on or off, really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So I'm gonna pull out every chip but one. I guess even though it's not a big deal that I really, these chips are probably 512 meg DDRs. It's not like I'm gonna be able to sell these, but we had 3 gig in there, so let's try to find the 1 gig chip, because that actually might be a chip that we could sell at some point or other. There's the 1 gig right there. Actually, 1 gig. So there was 2 1 gigs and then 2 512s. So I'm going to keep the 1 gigs because even though it's unlikely I'm going to sell it, you know, the 1 gig chips might actually be worth something because sometimes there'll be older businesses that need work. You know, they want an old PC with XP. And you know, DDR memory is hard to find, so alright. Tell you what, let's do this next. We're gonna pull this fan off here. This should just slide right out like this. I'm just gonna disconnect that. Alright, so we got the fan out of the way. Now, the heat sink is very big. However, it is a Pentium 4. They do generate a lot of heat. And so without the fan and the shroud being on, this is going to warm up pretty quick. But I actually want to pull the heat sink completely off. I'm trying to think in which order to do this, because I think once we do that, if the processor goes, then the computer's pretty much toast. So we're still back up, everything's still functional. Tell you what, let's pull the P4 connection, see what happens. So the computer just died, or powered off I should say. I'm going to plug that back in, see if she powers back up. Okay, it's powering back on. Let's try pulling the IDE channels, just pull it straight off here. Now they always say you can't hot swap IDE channels. I'm going to pull the optical drive cable here and get rid of that guy. I'm really going to just pitch that. It's the 40 pin connector, kind of worthless. Sometimes you can still use the 80 pins, but the 40 pins won't generally run the hard drive as fast. So okay, so we're still up and running. Let's hot swap the, we're going to put the IDE back in, see if we can see some sparks or anything. Nope. It does freeze the machine up, so it seems like everything we've done so far has pretty much frozen the computer. But outside of that, it's really not caused any major damage here. Okay, we still got it posting, so. Alright, so we got the drive. I'm going to disconnect that. There's actually a floppy drive in here. We'll disconnect that one. Again, still up and running. I'm thinking we need a glass of water. I don't know about that, but alright, so I'm going to pull the heat sink off because apparently that's about the only thing we're going to be able to do to get this thing to die, so. There's actually a clip down here, but the camera, I don't really have a stand, so I'm going to have to kind of maybe, I don't know if I can, so you can see what I'm doing. If I can use the cables to prop up the camera. Let's see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to pull this out, and the sucker's hot. Alright, so heat sink's off. There's the processor. I'm going to shut it off here. Still powering on. So my guess is this processor is going to start getting really hot real quick here. Oop, it just shut off on me. I'm going to turn it back on. Turned off again. Turned off. I mean, it's like shutting off immediately. So more than likely, the motherboard's sensing that the processor is like overheating. I'm going to keep on powering this thing on. We'll see if we can get any reaction out of it here. I've got some boots and saddles spray. Let me spray that down there. We'll see. Smells like leather. It's just an air freshener. Let's see what happens. It's still posting. I'm afraid this thing's gonna like pop or something in my face. I smell the air freshener, and there's definitely a fair amount of heat rising out of this area here, which is to be expected. Well, okay, let's pull the processor out here. If I don't burn myself. Ouch, that guy's hot. Okay. See what happens when the processor's out. So it does power on, but it's not posting, of course. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut it back off. I'm going to put the processor back in, the heatsink back in, and then we'll see if she comes back up. My guess is it probably will. And then after that, maybe what we can do is just yank a capacitor out or something when it's running, see what happens. So, I'm gonna plug it back in. So it's back up and posting again. So obviously it was shutting off because of the heat, which makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop one of these capacitors out. I've got some pliers here. We'll just we'll yank it right out. Okay, we're going to do this one here. It's that guy right there I'm going to pull out. I'm going to probably do this quick. Alright, so I just yanked it. Nothing in there. I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on. Seems like I'd get some kind of electrical charge with feedback, but apparently that's not one that does much, or it's still posting, even with one of the caps missing. I'm not sure what that one does, but like I said, it's a pretty small guy, so generally when capacitors start going bad, the computer will start acting funny. That's because the amount of power that they're supplying the rest of the circuit is not the correct amount, like when they start leaking and that kind of stuff. So it does post, but it's actually not going any further, so I think we're kind of crippling the thing a little bit here. Power it off, turn it back on here. So it's still coming up. So why don't we try, I guess we're going to try another one. I think I'm going to power down when I pull these, because I really don't want to, I don't think I'm going to get zapped, but I don't want to really take the chance here. So I'm going to pull this other guy right there, this little guy out, and see what happens. Okay, so we got two capacitors out right now. Not seeing any sparks on the board or anything. Still coming up and posting. That's crazy. Huh. It's actually doing more with the second one out than the first. What the heck? The fan failure is just because the fan's not plugged in. Now the heatsink is getting really hot. I mean, I can barely touch it. That's because, again, there's no fan to cool the unit off. It's crazy that it's still posting though. All right, let's grab another one. All right, we're gonna get this other guy. This one's actually a little bit bigger. We're gonna grab this one and pull it out. It's almost like removing somebody's teeth. Not like I've done that before, but it's still coming on. What the heck? Oh, just shut off. Nope. Jeez, this is unbelievable. You know what's weird though? I'm not getting, I can't push F1 or F2, so maybe those capacitors had something to do with the input or output circuit on the keyboard and mouse, because I'm also not getting the number lock light up. So That's what I'm guessing those capacitors did, so I'm just going to unplug the USB cables here because it's not doing anything. So that's probably related to that circuit, I'm guessing. Alright, let's just keep pulling here. I'm going to do the one near the processor here, see what we get. Okay. So we got 4 of them out now. Still posting. It's kind of amazing, really. I'm almost curious if we had a PS2 keyboard, if we plugged in, if that was any different. I don't know if I have one over here or not. Let's see my little pile of junk. Here's one. So let's just for kicks here, we're going to plug in this PS2 keyboard. Sorry about the moving part, this is just a little Canon camera. Alright. It's funny, I saw the numlock light come on when it first came on. Oop, yeah, you couldn't see that. But yeah, it's on. See if we can bypass this message. F1 to continue. No boot device available. You know what? I'm curious now if this thing will actually go into Windows with 4 capacitors missing. I'm gonna grab that IDE cable here real quick. Plug it back in. Again, we're still running no heat sink. I'm gonna put this down and then get the IDE thing plugged in. Hold on a second. Alright, so I got the IDE, hard drive IDE channel plugged back in. Diskette drive 0 seek failure, of course. That's the floppy drive. It's taken longer because of that BIOS battery being bad. I probably should have replaced that before we did this little experiment. Again, 4 capacitors totally removed. Still somewhat functional here. Time of date not set, no big deal. F1 to continue. Oh my god, it's gonna boot, isn't it? Alright, number 5. And remember, I've got 512 meg of RAM in here too now. I'm running Windows 7. Let's, again, I'm kind of a little leery about pulling it when the thing's turned on, because I've seen boards fry and pop when they have been on, so I'm gonna pass on that. A little more safe if you're behind the metal box. So it's going into Windows with 4 caps missing. So all right, I'm gonna unplug it here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna swap out that 3-volt battery because it's actually making this video go a lot longer because it has to do the. So this is the battery I'm gonna swap out. I've got some extra ones down here. That way, next time when it comes up, you won't have to wait as long. Okay. So this thing's still functioning. It's unbelievable. Yep. Jeez. Alright, so I'm going to power it down. I'm going to pull capacitor number 5. Let's see what we can do here. How about this big guy right here? That's one of the bigger ones. Get that sucker. Okay, that's... the big molar just came out. Alright. I think it turned on. Wow, unbelievable. 5 capacitors. I might have to send this video to Dell and tell them, hey guys, you're over-engineering your computers, because obviously you don't need as many capacitors in them. Maybe we can cut down the price of these by, you know, $1 or $2. This is just amazing to me. Again, heat sink's very hot right now. 5 capacitors just pulled right out. Well, I guess we're going to have to do 6. Let's pull this guy. There's one right there. Let's get that guy out of there. Okay. Doesn't take too much effort to get those things out. Okay. I gotta think at some point this thing's just gonna stop working. Holy smokes. I mean, guys, this is legit. I mean, I'm not, you know, the video cord, I can't even believe this. We have 6 capacitors out, no fan. She's still loading Windows. You know, the odd thing is, when capacitors leak, usually the computer blue screens and does a lot of weird stuff, so this is what's just kind of blowing my mind right now. Alright, we're gonna go for some more here. Alright, let's go for a big one right back here. There we go. Alright. I'm ready for a pop at some point here. I'm going to get a little further back. Wow. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 capacitors and it's still functioning. Now obviously I've not tested the serial port, parallel port, the audio. I think the USB ports, if I'm not mistaken, are probably gone. We can check that when we go into Windows here. Hard drive's still crunching away like it's loading Windows. Okay. I almost feel bad for this little guy now. So obviously these caps don't have anything to do with the machine primary function. So I'm gonna plug in the USB. I think this is my keyboard right here. We'll see if it can detect it. I'm gonna get a little further away from that tower. I just think at some point the voltage change here is going to be a problem. It's running slow because of the lack of RAM. Probably should have left that other 512. It would have loaded up a lot quicker. We're hitting about 24 minutes here. So I'm still not getting USB, or if I am, it's really slow. Now the PS2 is still functional though, so the USB keyboard is not doing anything. Well, it says installing driver software, so maybe it actually is. We'll let that go here for a minute. The Ethernet port. We gotta plug it in. Let's see if we can browse the internet. I'm gonna have to plug in the mouse though. Well, okay, the USB's still working, so I'm gonna plug in my mouse. It's gonna hit. Oh, shoot! I think I hit restart now. This is unbelievable. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do one more because it's gonna shut down anyway. So. the mouse actually did start working. So we got 7 caps out. Heat sink's getting really hot. Alright, so let's pop one more out here. Let's get another one of these big guys. I hope it actually still stays working so we can see if we can browse the net with alright, so that one's gone. Now we got 3 big ones and 5 little ones. Plug her in here. Turn it on. Still posting. Crazy. I'm gonna keep this video going. We're gonna see how many caps we can pull here. Just got drive zeros. Okay, feet. It's fine. Still loading Windows. Yeah, she's hot. I'm thinking that all those little caps near the processor, I think that would probably do some damage. But let's do this. We're going to get rid of these normal looking caps and then see how far we can take this. There's some little guys down here. My store is going to open pretty soon here, so I may have to, somebody comes in, I may have to cut this short and come back to it. I mean, given that it's really running just the way it normally would, I mean, there's no, you know, it's 512 meg, I mean, it's running actually pretty decent considering that's about what it's running the way that it should run. I'm not seeing any real performance issues here. Let's see, it's going to go to Google. Oh, you know what's going to happen? The date and the time are like way off, so it's going to probably give me an error message. You see the HTTPS, when the secure server realized that the computer time and date are off, it basically won't browse the web because it thinks that, you know, you're trying to scam or something like that. So let's change this to oops, 2017. It's May 2nd today. I'm going to leave the time alone. We should be okay. Hit refresh. I don't think the time being that far off should make that much of a difference. Maybe it will. You know, a couple hours won't make a big deal, but let's close the browser and open her back up. This is just crazy. Hard drive's crunching away here. There we go. Still functional. Alright, so I'm going to pull the cord again. We're going to pull out another one. Let's get this other big guy right here. There we go. There's that one. Alright. So again, I'm getting a little bit further back each time, just in case. This is just crazy. I really don't get it. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, previous shutdown due to a thermal event, fan failure. Okay, we're gonna continue anyways. The noise that came out of the little onboard speaker sounded weird, and that's that little guy right down there, so maybe we hit the audio circuit the last time. The odd thing for me to pull out all these capacitors and it still function, I mean, I don't know which one does what, so either I've gotten really lucky, I don't know, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm just waiting for that thing to go. A little bit slower now, it seems like. It's still coming up though. This video is going a lot longer than I had anticipated. I kind of thought something would have just died by now. I definitely see it seems like there's a performance difference, but you know what, maybe it's because of the thermal portion of it, the fan not being there. Maybe the processor's clocking down. That may be why it's running slower. So it's still coming up. Let's do another one here. Alright, so let's do 2 at a time here. Speed this process up a little bit. I'm going to do these 2 near the P4 connector here. Ouch, can't touch that. Heatsink, it's hot. It's really hot. I'm almost burning my finger on it. Alright, so got 2 more out. I'm getting further back here. Still powering on, come on. This is crazy. It doesn't make sense. Oh, noise sounds sick still, like, but that's okay. Unbelievable. Let's go safe mode, see if that loads any quicker. This is kind of slow here. Kind of tempted to stick that 512 back in, get us a gig. I'm gonna go here. I'll resume here in a second, okay? Got a customer at the door. Hey everyone, it's Rob again. I just got back from fixing a computer and eating lunch, so just resuming this video on the Dell that we've already ripped out. Let's see, 4 large capacitors, and then 4 mid-size ones, and then 3 small ones. So we're still up and running in Windows. I did add the 512 meg back in, so, and we're still browsing the internet. See if Word opens up okay here. I'm guessing it probably will, because everything else seems to be working alright. Excuse me. I always get really stuffed up after I eat food. I think I've got allergies to food and stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue the tooth pulling here. Gotta figure out where I put my pliers at. Alright, so we got the big ones out. The amount of time, I'm going to shut this off here. It's been off for quite a while, for a couple hours. So the heat sink's a lot cooler now. I can touch it now. It's actually warming up a little bit again, but I'm going to pull this guy out here. Let's do this one, and then let's do another one here. Alright, so now I'm going to plug it back in. Jeez. Still powering up. Fan failure. I'm going to shut off. We're going to do a few more here because this is just taking a lot longer. I would have, like I said before, I think I would have Thought this would have been dead by now. Okay, there's 2 more. I just cannot believe this. So I got 4, 8, 12. Got 15 of them out. I'm starting to wonder if I'm in some bizarro world here or something. This is just crazy. Let me get my little flashlight. Well, I can't find my flashlight right now. Anyways. So, we're running pretty low on capacitors here. I guess, I mean, the way this thing's going, I think I may just pull all the standard ones out here, like these guys down here. Just grab them all and let the computer run. I'm gonna leave these in last resort here. Like I said, my gut would tell me any of these coming out would cause a problem, but these, I think these are capacitors down here. They're really hot too. So anyways, let's unplug it and just grab a bunch of them here. It's kind of hard to get them with the video card in the way. Let's see. Okay, there's 2 more. 3 more. 4. They're a little bit of a work to actually pull out of the socket. So I kind of grunt a little bit when I'm pulling this out. But you gotta go straight up so I don't cut my hand on the case when I'm pulling them out. Alright, so there's more. Alright. Jeez. I'm almost starting to believe this isn't even real, doesn't it? Well, that's weird. Invalid configuration information. So apparently one of the capacitors probably connected the battery back up to the rest of the circuit board, because now even with that new battery in, it lost the settings. So there must have been some kind of tie-in with one of these. Still loading though. Okay, I'm gonna do these in groups of 4 here. Let's do 5, I guess. Make it easier to count. Excuse me. Alright, so right now we are up to 20 capacitors that have been pulled, and she's still going. And my battery is about to die, so I'm going to have to cut this and charge the battery and get back with you here. Okay, I'm back again. I went ahead and pulled the heatsink off of, I would normally call that like a video chip, but since it doesn't have onboard video, I'm not really sure what that thing's doing. It's soldered onto the board, the motherboard, so I'm just going to leave that thing off. And then let's go ahead and pull a few more capacitors here. I'll move some of these wires so I can get to the things a little better. So there's 2 over here. 1, 2. Man, let's do a few more over here. I didn't put a full charge of my battery, so I'm trying to speed this thing up as quick as I can here. 1. too. Alright, so let's get our power back on here. Still powering up. Oop. I heard kind of a weird noise coming out of here. I don't know if it's that chip without the heatsink on there, maybe. Because the heatsink actually had quite a bit of heat. So whatever it was doing, it was it was doing something because it was heating up. So yeah. Trying to determine where that sound is. It's like a hissing noise coming out of here. So it doesn't sound like the hard drive. Alright, so we're still out there. I'm going to pull some other things because obviously capacitors just aren't doing much of anything here. So there's a little copper rounded thing. It's probably some kind of choke, I'm guessing. So I'm gonna pull that guy out maybe. I may have to cut the cable or the copper because it's like, yeah, it's got a magnet. So I think that's some kind of choke right there. I wasn't able to just pull it right out because the copper that's there is very thick. Let's see about this guy right here. Okay, that was something else. I'm not sure what the heck it is. Ouch. Alright. It's some kind of copper round little device there, so we'll see what we get going on here. May have finally caused some damage. Orange light is on. It's actually orange. It looks green in the camera. It's weird. I'm seeing orange though. Huh. It's orange here, but it looks green in the viewfinder. Yeah, maybe we just finally killed it. Yeah, I think we did the number. It's not posting or anything now. So whatever that last little guy here, it probably kind of did something to the circuit that finally killed it. Okay, well. I almost want to stick it back and see if that was the cause of the failure here. I'm gonna take my little spray stuff. I got nothing to lose right now. I'm gonna spray some right down here. Just I know water and electronics do not mix. Kind of crazy for doing this, but it's not frying anything, so it smells good. I guess if I were to really drench this sucker here, probably would eventually start frying something. Activity light on the Ethernet was blinking a second ago. Huh. Well, nothing. I was expecting some fireworks here or something, but apparently you really got to get this thing wet. I'm not willing to do that in my shop here. I don't want to be having to call the fire department and say, hey, I started my store on fire because I was trying to do something with a computer here. That one thing that I took the heatsink off is still, you know, definitely got a lot of heat coming out of this area. So, okay, well, when all's said and done, it wasn't that exciting, but appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the video, do a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You guys have a good day. Take care. Just for kicks, I literally just dropped that little piece in there that I bent getting out. It literally made contact because the holes were still in there, so guess what? It's kind of back to life right now without me. I didn't even solder it, I just kind of stuck it in the holes, so we'll see what happens here. Did a Control-Alt-Delete. It did reboot. It's running really slow though right now. It's going to the BIOS setup here and see if it lets us in. So it's having a hard time detecting the drives. Doesn't really surprise me. We'll give it a second here. Still going into Windows. Well, I'm gonna cut it, charge my battery again, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, back once again. In the meantime of charging the battery, I actually ripped out all the capacitors except for what I think are these, which I believe are capacitors, but all the normal old school looking ones, took every single one out. This guy came loose again, so I just took the soldering iron and soldered it back in. So last time I turned it on, it was powering on, and we're still up and running. So hard drive's clicking here. I'm wondering if it's not getting enough juice. We'll let it get away from this tower here. Let it do its seek or IDE configuration screen, see if it picks up what it needs to pick up here. Okay, error auto sensing primary hard disk drive, which it's not shown before. Let's go into BIOS setup here. And it does show the hard drive though, so I'm not sure why. Yeah, maybe the cap's missing there, or kind of throwing it off a little bit. The computer, I think the drive spun down. I heard it kind of slow down or kick off and then spin back up, and then it's like not doing anything. We got the green lights on. I'm thinking the capacitors that probably support the power to the drive or control the drive are probably, drive controller probably is what got messed up here. So we'll try this one more time, but I think we're starting to see some signs of failure. called my partner in Michigan. His name's Chris. He said that it was pretty much you'd have to have a Pentium 3 or older to see the processor burn out. So that's why when we remove the heat sink, it didn't actually burn out. So well, now we're working again. So well, maybe. Yeah, it's running a little crippled here, it looks like. Yeah, I think we're kind of hitting the end of the road here. I believe what capacitors do, actually, they hold a little bit of a charge in times where it needs more juice, and more than likely the capacitor that runs some of the circuitry here doesn't have the extra little oomph it needs to get out of the capacitors to actually make the computer work here. So anyways, this is good. It's long enough. You guys take care. Thanks for watching.